I'm Jeremy. Today's day 369 of reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Let's get started. We are currently on page 130. Let's go. Into the lift. Harry stared up at them as they flapped idly around above his head. They were a pale violet color, and he could see Ministry of Magic stamped along the edge of their wings. "Just interdepartmental memos," Mr. Weasley muttered to him. "We used to use owls, but the mess was unbelievable. Droppings all over the desks." As they clattered upward again, the memos flapped around the swaying lamp in the lift ceiling. Level 5, Department of International Magical Cooperation, incorporating the International Magic Trading Standards Body, the International Magic Office of Law, and the International Confederation of Wizards British seats. When the door opened, 2 of the memos zoomed out with a few more witches and wizards, but several more memos zoomed in, so that the light from the lamp in the ceiling flickered and flashed as they darted around it. Level 4, Department for the Regulation of Control of Magical Creatures, incorporating Beast, Being, and Spirit divisions. Goblin Liaison Office and Pest Advisory Bureau. "Excuse," said a wizard carrying the fire-breathing chicken, and he left the lift pursued by a little flock of memos. The doors clanged shut yet again. Level 3, Department of Magical Accidents and Catastrophes, including the Accidental Magical Reversal Squad, Obliviator Headquarters, and Muggle-Worthy Excuse Committee. Everybody left the lift on this floor except Mr. Weasley, Harry, and a witch who was reading an extremely long piece of parchment that was trailing on the ground. The remaining memos continued to soar around the lamp as the lift juddered upward again, and then the doors opened and said, Level 2, Department of Magical Law Enforcement, including the Improper Use of Magic Office, our headquarters, and Wizengamot Administration Service. "This is us, Harry," said Mr. Weasley, and they followed the witch out of the lift into the corridor lined with doors. "My office is on the other side of the floor." "Mr. Weasley," said Harry, as they passed the window through which sunlight was streaming. "Aren't we underground?" "Yes, we are," said Mr. Weasley. "Those are enchanted windows. Magical maintenance decides what weather we're getting every day. We had 2 months of hurricanes last time because they were angling for a pay raise. Just round here, Harry." They turned a corner, walked through a pair of heavy oak doors, and emerged in a cluttered open area divided into cubicles, which were buzzing with talk and laughter. Memos were zooming in and out of the cubicles like miniature rockets. A lopsided sign on the nearest cubicle read, "Our Headquarters." Harry looked surreptitiously through the doorways as they passed. The R's had covered their cubicle walls with everything from pictures of wanted wizards and photographs of their families to posters of their favorite Quidditch team and articles from the Daily Prophet. A scarlet-robed man with a ponytail longer than Bill's was sitting with his boots up on his desk, dictating a report to his quill. A little farther along, a witch with a patch over her eye was talking over the top of her cubicle wall to Kingsley Shacklebolt. "Morning, Weasley," said Kingsley carelessly as they drew nearer. "I've been wanting a word with you. Have you got a second?" "Yes, if it really is a second," said Mr. Weasley. "I'm in rather a hurry." They were talking to each other as though they hardly knew each other, and when Harry opened his mouth to say hello to Kingsley, Mr. Weasley stood on his foot. They followed Kingsley along the row into the very last cubicle. Harry received a slight shock. Cyrus's face was blinking down at him from every direction. Newspaper cuttings and old photographs, even the one of Cyrus being best man at the Potter's wedding, papered the walls. The only Cyrus-free space was a map of the world, in which little red pins were glowing like jewels. "Here," said Kingsley brusquely to Mr. Weasley, shoving a sheaf of parchment into his hand. "I need as much information as possible on flying Muggle vehicles sighted in the last 12 months. We've received information that Black might still be using his old motorcycle." Kingsley tipped Harry an enormous wink and added, in a whisper, "Give him the magazine. He might find it interesting." Then he said in normal tones, "And don't take long, Weasley. The delay on that Firelights report held our investigation up for a month. If you had read my report, you would know that the term is firearms," said Mr. Weasley coolly, "and I'm afraid you'll have to wait for information on motorcycles. We're extremely busy at the moment." He dropped his voice and said, "If you can get away before 7, Molly's making meatballs." He beckoned to Harry and led him out of Kingsley's cubicle, through a second set of oak doors into another passage, turned left, marched along another corridor, turned right into a dimly lit and distinctly shabby corridor, and finally reached a dead end, where a door on the left stood ajar, revealing a broom cupboard, and a door on the right bore a tarnished brass plate reading, "Misuse of Muggle Artifacts." Mr. Weasley's dingy office seemed to be slightly smaller than the broom cupboard. 2 desks had been crammed inside it, and there was barely room to move around them because of all the overflowing filing cabinets lining the wall, on top of which were tottering piles of files. The little wall space available bore witness to Mr. Weasley's obsessions. There were several posters of cars, including one of a dismantled engine, 2 illustrations of postboxes he seemed to have cut out of Muggle children's book, and a diagram showing how to wire a plug. Sitting on top of Mr. Weasley's overflowing in-tray was an old toaster that was hiccuping in disconsolate, and a pair of empty leather gloves that were twiddling their thumbs. A photograph of the Weasley family stood beside the in-tray. Harry noticed that Percy appeared to have walked out of it. "We haven't got a window," said Mr. Weasley apologetically, taking off his bomber jacket and placing it on the back of his chair. "We've asked, but they don't seem to think we need one. Have a seat, Harry. It doesn't look as if Perkins is in yet." Harry squeezed himself into the chair behind Perkins' desk while Mr. Weasley rifled through the sheaf of parchment and Kingsley Shacklebolt had given him. "Ah," he said, grinning, as he had extracted a copy of a magazine entitled The Quibbler from its mists. "Yes." He flicked through it. "Yes, he's right. I'm sure Cyrus will find that very amusing. Oh dear, what's this now?" A memo had just zoomed in through the open door and fluttered to a rest on top of the hiccuping toaster. Mr. Weasley unfolded it and read aloud, "Third regurgitating public toilet reported in Bethnal Green. Kindly investigate immediately. This is getting ridiculous." A regurgitating toilet? Anti-Muggle pranksters," said Mr. Weasley, frowning. "We had 2 last week. One in Wimbledon, one in Elephant and Castle. Muggles are pulling the flush, and instead of everything disappearing, well, you can imagine. The poor things keep calling in those pumbles, I think they're called. You know, the ones who mend pipes and things." "Plumbers?" "Exactly, yes. But of course they're flummoxed. I only hope we can catch whoever is doing it." "Will it be the ours who catch them?" "Oh, no, this is too trivial for ours. It'll be the ordinary magical law enforcement patrol. Ah, Harry, this is Perkins." Thank you, everyone. That's all for today. Bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to read page 134. Bookmark close. Peace out.